Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
Yeah, it looks like Hasbro is starting off the new year on the wrong foot. Their stock has just gotten a downgrade because they've lost 45% of their value in the last 3 years. And they laid a bunch of people off. And now analysts are looking at them like, yeah, we don't really see a path forward. Like, do you guys have a plan? Is there a plan here? Because
I don't think there is.
We don't understand what's going on. So we're gonna talk about this just to follow up on the Hasbro news. And for those of you who don't know, yeah, Hasbro has laid a bunch of people off in the last year. And they sold off E1, which was their entertainment division. That's the company that was making the D&D movie, which did not do well, even though it was pretty good. It was pretty good. And they made the Transformers movies. They sold that off. We'll talk about that. They're just bleeding money out left and right, and they want to pivot to becoming apparently just an IP rights holder and a video game company or something, but they don't seem interested in making good toys anymore.
I wonder why we're losing money. You have no idea.
We're a toy company that doesn't want to make toys. They don't want to make toys. They want to be a dentist, dental marketing firm. Let's talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, you get woo if you do.
Woohoo!
Go out to shopclownfish.com. You can pick up a copy of Crimson Wren Volume 1 and previously on Clownfish TV. These books are in hand, in stock, and shipping currently. And you got about 11 days yet to secure a copy. So thank you so much for the support. That's shopclownfish.com. So bear with me here, guys. I'm sick today, so if I'm all over the place, that's why. But yeah, Hasbro's getting a downgrade in the wake of the layoffs. This analyst, Linda Bolton Weiser, lowered her rating for Hasbro shares to neutral from buy on Tuesday and trimmed the target price to $53 from $60. She said signals point to management uncertainty about when the toy business will resume growth.
Well, maybe if you don't price your toys so damn fucking high, you wouldn't have as much trouble.
Yeah, right?
How much are Transformers now?
The average, what used to be a $10 or $15 Transformer is between $25 and $35 now.
It's funny to me because they were doing those 2-packs, like buy one get one free, and they didn't sell those either.
They couldn't sell them at buy one get one free. I picked up a couple today actually.
But they were on clearance. They were buy one get one free, and they were $17.
$17 for two deluxe Transformers, and they're oddball ones, but they're I don't have them, so I'm like, yeah, okay, fine. That's only less than $10 each, so whatever. So Chris Cox, who is seriously screwing Hasbro, said the market headwinds we anticipated have proven to be stronger and more persistent than planned. While we're confident in the future of Hasbro, the current environment demands that we do more.
The current environment demands you make some people want to buy. But you don't want to do that.
Yeah, people said you should buy Mattel and not Hasbro because Mattel seems to have a plan. Barbie made money and their toy sales are consistent. I mean, Mattel, they've been in trouble before, but Barbie and Hot Wheels always gets them through. Mm-hmm. Whereas Hasbro, I don't even know what Hasbro is anymore. Like, I think you've got Hasbro, the toy company, and then you've got Hasbro, what Hasbro wants to be under Chris Cox, which is basically just a rights holder. I mean, half their toys, they're licensing them out to Basic Fun, the Super 7.
That's what I was saying. Go back to his comment. That's what I don't understand. He's saying the market headwinds we anticipated. What does that mean? Have proven to be stronger and more persistent than planned.
Consumers were pickier than we thought they would be.
Consumers actually thought we'd make shit that they wanted to buy and for prices that, weren't ridiculous. And they actually wanted their toys to come in the box nice and not when they open the box fall apart and be shit.
Yeah. I mean,
Shocker.
There's no good news around Hasbro. Their stock has declined 18% in a year. Here's why, according to Yahoo Finance. They said Hasbro's initiatives, including product launches and a shift toward technology-driven toys for reviving its brands, boosting sales, are likely to drive profits in the long term. However, costs related to these initiatives might prove detrimental in the near term. I don't know what the hell they're talking about. It shouldered high expenses with respect to freight, product costs, sales allowances, and various toy and gaming. They don't do shit. Oh, various toy and gaming product closeouts.
I was going to say the closeouts.
Yeah, so we've made jokes before that Ollie's Bargain Outlet is where Hasbro stock goes to die. You go to Ollie's, the toy department is mostly Disney, Hasbro crap. Star Wars, Marvel. It's all just rotting on the shelves. Nobody wants it. They got burnt. And I remember they threw Disney under the bus back in 2018 because they really slowed down on their Star Wars toys because it got burned on The Last Jedi. And they're like, yeah, people hated it. They're not buying the toys. So when Solo came out, they hardly had anything for Solo. They had a handful of figures and what I call the nap time Millennium Falcon.
Yes.
It was so small. Han Solo had to lay down to be able to fit in it. It was ridiculous because they weren't going to make some big, $100 playset. That stuff's still sitting there. You can still find the Kessel Run playsets or Kessel Spice Mine playset, whatever, at Ollie's for like $15.
Yep.
It's still there all these years later. Nobody wants this shit. And they're trying to say, well, it's because kids today, they like their iPads and they like their whatever. It's like, no, collectors are a huge market and you burn them too. And you burn Dungeons and Dragons players too and Magic players. I mean, geez, here's another example. Another guy, this guy has a YouTube channel and he was a big advocate for 5e, and now he's teaming up with some friends, and they're making an alternative to 5e, and they're making lots of money. Everybody's eating away at their market because they're tired of Hasbro's bullshit. Whether it's WotC or their other toy lines, like everybody's just sick of Hasbro's shit, and they're not buying their stuff. This is what kind of tipped me off, though. They said that they're down 45% in 3 years.
Yikes.
With the S&P up 25%. So they're down. Everything else is up. What's next for Hasbro? Well, I think what's next for Hasbro is they get bought out or something, I think is what's next for them. Because they're selling themselves off in bits and pieces.
Well, like you said, it seems like they're trying to make themselves a video game company, but no one's going to look to Hasbro for video games.
No, why would they put a video game guy? And there's two. There's Chris Cox and Cynthia Williams, who's in charge of Wizards of the Coast. And that's what they're doing with WotC is they're basically trying to turn D&D into a video game brand. Now,
Baldur's Gate and so on.
Yeah, which is fine, but Hasbro didn't develop that. And actually, most of the people that talked to the developers of Baldur's Gate
aren't there.
They're not there anymore. They got gone. They got fired. They got laid off.
Honestly, every time he speaks, it just sounds like double talk, and he never explains what he's talking about. Like, because of, the economic headwinds and the microeconomic blah, 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 and the gobbledygook of the blah, 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 we suck. It's like, what translation is, no one's buying our shit, everything's too expensive, and we can't get it cheaper because we're spending too much to ship it in, so we're not doing well.
Look at this. So, notably, Hasbro stock has underperformed the broader market in each of the last 3 years. Returns for the stock were 9% in 2021. Now, that makes sense because people were stuck in their houses and they were buying games. And
they were buying a lot of the Wizards of the Coast stuff.
Right. Negative 40% in 2022 and negative 18% in 2023. In comparison, returns for the S&P 500 have been 27% in 2021, negative 19% in 2022, and 23% in 2023, indicating Hasbro has underperformed the S&P in the last 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
So
not good.
It's a them problem. They can talk about the economic headwinds till the cows come home.
How about this? How about Hasbro go back to being a toy company? Stop trying to make movies. Stop trying to do all this shit. Go back to being a toy company.
Yeah.
Make toys people want to buy and try to keep them affordable. And I mean, if you're going to charge the amounts you're charging for Transformers, you could get away with that if the Transformers were decent and the paint was good and everything else, but you're not doing that. So maybe spend a little bit more per toy to make them more decent and make people buy them.
I've noticed with the Transformers, and this is coming from a guy who's been collecting them for years, and I'm not collecting as many as I used to because the newer ones I don't like.
There's a bunch of other toy lines that are better, like the Beast Bots and stuff.
The Beast Bot, yeah, I've been collecting those. Third-party Transformers are sweet. It's like, if Hasbro would do more of that, like, $100, $200 collector line, but like collector quality, they would get more money.
A lot of HasLabs doesn't even get made. Doesn't get funded.
No. But I've noticed that when they announce their Transformers, they might have a couple new molds, but usually what they are, the bulk of them are lazy repaints and characters that they pick a lot of times, they're picking them because they have limited paint applications. It's just like one solid color with a couple, like, oh, we're going to make this character. Oh, look, guys, this is whatever. Oh, look, of course, of all the different paint jobs we could give this character, we're going to make them all just like Dayglow green or something because, it's cheaper for them. That's like everybody was getting excited about the G2 prototype Transformers, right? And they're like, oh, great. I'm looking at them. I'm like, I know why they're doing this. They're doing this because it's like, oh, look, Grimlock's just a solid chunk of yellow plastic. We can use the same mold we had before and just make them a solid chunk of yellow, you know, and same with the other ones. Like very limited paint applications. That means they're cheaper to make. You just mold them in like obnoxious colors. Jazz, like his faceplate wasn't even painted. It was just a solid like orange. And that's why they're doing it, because it's cheap. They're making the stuff cheap.
They'll charge you more.
And they'll charge you more.
Do less and charge you more. I can't understand why we're not doing well. No one wants to buy our stuff.
Yeah. So meanwhile, you know, they're outsourcing the companies like Basic Fun and Super 7, and you're paying the same amount of money, maybe a little bit more, but you're actually getting a pretty quality
item.
Usually. Not all. Some of the Super 7 stuff's kind of dodgy, but it's just like, yeah, they don't want to be a toy company. That's the problem. They don't want to be a toy company.
But Hasbro is a toy company.
They literally.
That's what it's always been.
Yeah. Like, you did this to yourselves. You put this guy in charge. They need to fire Chris Cox immediately. And they need to put somebody else in there. And I mean, the thing is really unfortunate about it is Brian Goldner, who, yeah, he wanted to do movies and all that, but he still cared about Hasbro as a company. He had cancer. He knew he had cancer for years, and there was no succession plan. Like, he didn't, you know what I'm saying? Like, he knew for years.
Yeah, he should have.
He should have. It was just like, he just basically just like took a week off. As I understand it, he took a week off and then he died. And that was it. Nobody knew what the hell was going on. And the company has been in shambles since. But I'm like, there's got to be somebody that can run Hasbro that wants to make it a toy company again. Somebody out there has to. If not, some other company is going to come along. They're going to break it up into pieces. They'll sell off the D&D IP.
I recommend they do that now anyway, because there are other toy companies out there that could probably, you know, be better caretakers of the IP than Hasbro.
Yeah.
Hasbro has, you know, completely made themselves a joke between their potato people bullshit and then like their D&D of late with their like, you know, prom campaigns and coffee shop campaigns.
Yeah.
People are just like, can we just give it to somebody who understands it? I think they've listened to the wrong people too long.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, I think they could probably sell these things off to different companies that would actually probably, you know, do better with them. But that's just me. They're not gonna. They'll just run it into the ground instead.
Run into the ground, and then they'll just strip mine it, and
or they could just go back to actually just being really good at making toys.
That's too easy.
You know, that's what I would do.
Not enough profit because you've got the overhead of manufacturing. See, they just want to print money. They don't want to actually have to give people anything. If it's too expensive
to ship stuff in, they could always bring in manufacturing back here.
They could do that. Wouldn't that be something?
They've done things before where they found out that if you bought American made for something as opposed to made in China for something, the cost wasn't much different. You know, and if you're raising the price anyway, just, you know, come back, bring it back here, I guess. But then again, no one wants to work, so I don't know how good that's going to go over. But you know.
Yeah, so I don't know, guys. There we go. Hasbro not in good shape. I think we're going to see some major changes coming to this company this year. They have got to get that CEO out of there.
You know, every time we talk about like Star Wars or Hasbro or this, all I keep thinking of is, you know, like, you know, a doctor. I get, you know, a headache every time I stand up. Don't do it. Every time I you know, eat this, I feel sick. Don't do it. It's like, it's not hard. Like common sense. Don't do that then. Don't do that.
Stop it.
Just stop.
Stop it. That was Bob Newhart on SNL.
Yeah, stop it.
They're like, well, this and that. He's like, well, stop it. Just stop it.
I mean, I don't understand why it's so complicated. Just stop it.
Stop it. Stop doing that.
You could stop it tomorrow and fix it, but you won't. And then what happens is you get too far and you can't go back. And then, you know, the only place you're past the cliff. You're like the, you know, you're like the coyote going out there running in the air chasing the roadrunner, not realizing he's in the air, and then he puts like the help me sign and falls down. You've been in the air too long. You're going to fall down now.
Yeah.
You could have stopped this whole thing, but you didn't.
Yeah, that's it. Hasbro falls. They've fallen far. I mean, 45% in 3 years. That is completely unacceptable. I don't know how. Like, the shareholders need to freaking
how do these people have jobs? Has Kathleen Kennedy have a job?
I don't know.
Has Cox have a job? How do these people have jobs? I don't understand it. It's like they want to lose money.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe
I can't wrap my head around it. It just does not compute. Does not math.
I don't know. Let's wrap this one up.
Yep.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.
Bye.